Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my weekly review of the Power Profit Scan newsletter, which is a component of the Inner Circle subscription. The more talked about part is usually the live trading chat room, but there is this other area of the subscription, the newsletter here, and I want to go over just a scan from a few weeks ago, and that'll give you an idea of just kind of what the newsletter looks like and what this portion of the subscription service looks like if maybe you're on the fence or something like that. Now, before I go get any further, a couple of quick disclosures that I like to make every week. The first one, am I sitting here trying to imply that every single alert is a massive winner and is going to cause money to rain down from the skies? Absolutely not. In fact, if you've watched past videos in this series, you've seen me talk about losers. You've seen me show plays that don't really work out. You've seen me show plays that kind of work out but don't really work out. The point here being that nothing is perfect, and this is no exception. So I'm not trying to create some sort of marketing illusion that everything is always perfect. But it does go to show that winners do also happen, meaning this is why you need to be so focused on risk and controlling risk, keeping losses small, because as much as losers do happen, which I have no problem admitting, winners also happen. So when those winners do happen, you want to make sure that you're in the best position to, allow those winners to wipe away the losses and then keep on, trending upwards as far as green is concerned. The second point I want to make is I'm going back a few weeks and we're going to be looking at the week of 9-10. Why so far back? Well, first off, it's just giving the chart plenty of time to play out. And then second, it's just fair to paying members. I don't want to be talking about things that are still relatively recent because that just wouldn't be fair to those people that pay and then all of a sudden they see this stuff for free out on YouTube, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's why I am going back a few weeks just to keep things fair and allow these charts enough time to play out. So what you see here is behind the scenes after you would log into your account. This is one of the areas of the site that just has all the newsletters listed in case you want to, so plenty of variety. But like I pointed out already, we are going to be focusing on the week of 9-10 of 18. So let's get to it. The first chart to talk about and that I alerted and put into just a volatility play category was ticker GME, and volatility just because you can see this thing was all over the place. I mean, a total huge crash. Then all of a sudden the price started to bounce back up and started to consolidate, which is what I mapped out there on the annotations. And, as I said here, just, it's been an absolute wild price action. And, question, hey, is this going to continue to be volatile? Is there going to, be a breakout to the, upside? Just bottom line, is this crazy price action going to continue? Because if so, these can be very profitable ones to trade. So let's see how this played out. As I noted earlier, the newsletter goes out over the weekend. So what you see here is up until the end of the previous week, so Friday. And the next candle you'll see will be the next trading day from the, the following week. So the next candle, Monday. So let's see how this one played out. You can see right there, got kind of a slight breakout. Right there, definitely broke out, pulled back, but it's not like it totally crashed or anything. And then right there started to show some signs of life. Things were looking very, very nice, no doubt about it. And then that's all she wrote, and back down it went. And I like this example because, yeah, it was a winner, I guess, but I'm not trying to look down upon 4.9%. Because 4.9% in a matter of just a few days, that's very, very solid. In fact, if you don't believe me, go ahead, walk into your local bank, ask the person behind the counter, hey, I want 4.9, let's just call it 4%. I want 4% of my money in the next 4 days, and let me know what they say. They're going to, sir, we have, or ma'am, we have CDs available for 24 months that'll give you 2.4%. So yeah, I'm not looking down upon the 4.9%. I'm just saying, when the chart was looking like this, I mean, yeah, things were looking like, hey, here we go. This thing's headed up to 1750 and beyond. And then it just totally petered out and back down it went. And that's just how trading works sometimes. You're right. You get into a breakout. It starts to break out. And then all of a sudden, that's all she wrote. So a winner, sure. But was it anything like, was it anything where it seemed to be when it was really starting to break out? No, it didn't turn out to be the case, but that's just part of being a trader. The next chart to focus on here was a category of a pullback play and ticker symbol OPK. And as I alerted, there was a lot of downwards bearish momentum here, volume kicked back in. And it just questioned, essentially this general area down here as potentially being a good area on the pullback if it could, continue to pull back and get down to that area. So let's see how this one played out. So again, this was a candle and the chart when I sent it out over the weekend. So let's see how the following days all played out. There's a green. Actually, let me give a little more context. There we go. So that's essentially what the chart was looking like. So let's see how this one unfolded. So it started to make its pullback. And then right there, a thing of beauty, the power of charts, went right down around that general area. So who knows? Maybe people got filled on that candle. Like I said, I used, the word area, so it was within the area, but that level, or that candle right here, I should say, literally went down and hit that green line area. So right there was the entry point, and you can see, on the potential, entry down around here on that same day, the price returned back upwards with a very nice green candle, and then ultimately rolled back over. But that move right there was worth 25%. So 25%. Now, am I saying anybody played it perfectly? I'm not saying that. But a profit window of 25%. So even if you played it okay and maybe you got 10% out of it, think about it. Again, going back to the bank analogy, 10% in a matter of just a few days, don't go into your bank and ask that. You're probably going to be arrested because they're going to say, are you a loony? Are you a lunatic? Are you a loony? What do you mean 20%, 15%, 10%, 8% in only a few days? So nice little move there. Again, kind of the theme here, it was bouncing very, very beautifully, and then it just ran out of steam and rolled back over. But the nice thing about, this was, sure, it wasn't huge in regards to, distance on the chart, but as far as distance, price per share, added up to 25% relatively quickly. So nice little bounce right there for 25%. The final chart we'll look at here was in the technical pattern category and ticker RIG. And nothing fancy here other than just, this was a classic double bottom pattern. So double bottom, hammer candle, and, volume dropped off here on that little pullback. So let's see how this one played out. So here is the chart going into the weekend. So let's see what it looked like. So hanging right around that upward portion of the candle, and then the next day, again, hanging right around here. So by no means is it crazy for me to imply that people could have gotten in. Now, if this thing gapped up $4, that's a whole nother story. But no, price, right around this general area right here. So let's see how this one continued to play out. Right there, nice candle. And now things really start to warm up. And right there, what a move. And when you have, the what a move that occurs after the price has already been grinding upwards, very nice. It continued on there, and then eventually did peak out up there around 31.2%. So am I saying that everybody played it perfectly and got 31.2%? I'm not saying that. That is the profit window. So even if you played it okay, maybe you only played it, you screwed up half of it. So half of that's still 16%, 15.5. Let's call it 15.5%. Again, in a matter of a couple weeks, 15.5%, go into your local bank and tell them you want those returns, and take your phone with you and record their reaction. I'd be curious. I'm not curious. I know what they would say, and it would probably involve 911. But, very nice move, classic double bottom pattern, and, up it went. And, just a good solid trade, but definitely not unrealistic. I think maybe somebody got 20%, 25% from it. 30%, like I said, getting up to that range, that would imply that you played it perfectly. But a nice bounce from there, and a nice happened in a pretty quick amount of time. Sure, the other ones were occurring in just a few days. This one took a couple of weeks. But overall, a nice solid bounce from those lows down around the $11 mark. I realize that compared to last week's video where I was talking about a 300% mover, maybe these percentages look kind of weak. But again, it's all give and take. You got to keep things in perspective. So just keep in mind that bank example. So it's always kind of a catch-22 when you have, huge movers like last week at 300%. You're like, oh, great. Well, now next week, if there's some with, the 25, 30%, that's going to look like nothing. But it is what it is. And, just keep that in mind that when you think about what the local bank is offering, these are definitely all very respectable, amounts, and why you should always be so focused on risk control and risk management, because winners do happen, and when winners do occur, you want to make sure that your account is in a position to be able to keep in an overall uptrend by having winners wipe away the losses. Now, if you are interested in joining, you can go to claytrader.com/innercircle, or if you just go to the site as a whole, up at the top, you'll see an area for Inner Circle. You can just click on that. And as I alluded to earlier, yeah, we talked about the power profit scans, but the other main thing and probably more talked about is the live trading chat room. And then you have all these other benefits here that are explained to you. And also, there is a mobile app, so it's not like you have to stay chained to your computer or anything like that. You can keep in touch with everything when you're out and about or wherever you are. There is that mobile app, and that doesn't cost extra, and it does not cost extra or anything like that. And then finally, as far as cost, $99 per year. Per year. So if you pull out the calculator and do the math, that is $8.25 per month. Or if you want to break down the math that much more, it is $1.90 per week. $1.90 per week. If you cannot set aside or find $1.90 per week, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But point here, more than fair on the pricing. And as I always say, over the time span of 12 months, I am very, very confident you'll get at least $99 worth of value. Sure, maybe I'm setting the bar kind of low there, but hey, I just want to keep things as fair as possible from a pricing perspective. And if $99 per year isn't fair, then I'm sorry. That's all I can really tell you. So if there are any other questions, leave those down in the comment section below. Reach out to me through the site. I'd be happy to help. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you on the inside.